The Cat and the Bird, a children's book inspired by Paul Klee, by Geraldine Elshner and Peggy Neal. I had everything I needed to be happy in my house. With the blue shutters, I had a cozy basket, warm milk and toys, grass to nibble on, and a shiny tag on my collar with my name engraved on it. But my perfect house was a gilded cage. I was locked up tight, the key turned around twice. So from morning to evening, and from evening to morning, I sat by the window and dreamed. The garden outside was so wonderfully beautiful. When I closed my eyes tight, I could sense the scent of the chestnuts, the red leaves of autumn, the soft carpet of moss beneath my paws, the murmuring of the stream, and high up in the treetop, you. How beautifully you sang, how deliciously beautiful. For ages I would listen to you and lick my lips. I have to admit, I wanted to catch you very much. One stroke of my claws and snap of the teeth and crack. I felt I could already taste you in my mouth, completely, forever. But something inside me was even stronger than the urge to devour you. Deep inside I envied you. You were free to fly wherever you wanted, to come and go as you pleased. You were free, and I was captive. So I devoured you only with my eyes, and then I called out to you, "Hello, bird! Your beak is so sharp. You can bore holes into the tree trunks. Why don't you peck at the bars of my prison?" You answered me with a song. "A cat in a cage, what a funny sight! But would I be wise to help you? How can I be sure that you won't eat me up?" I looked at you straight in the eyes and said, "I give you my word plain and simple, and a promise is a promise." This was enough for you. Peck, peck. Without a moment's hesitation, you began to peck away the bars at my cage. And soon I was free, scampering after you on the roof of my house with the blue shutters. Bounding from tower to the bridge, and from the bridge to the chimney, I sprang to the edge of the horizon, and there I danced for joy in the moonlight. Thank you, little bird. I will never forget you. Your image will always be engraved in my memory, completely, forever. Cat and Bird, painted by Paul Klee, 1928, oil and ink on canvas, the Museum of Modern Art, New York. The largest collection of works by Paul Klee is on display at the Paul Klee Center in Bern, Switzerland. Did Paul Klee always want to be a painter? Paul Klee originally wanted to be a musician, and he learned to play the violin as a child. But in the end, he decided to study art. He attended the Kunstakademie, Art Academy, in Munich, where he began his studies by making drawings, caricatures, watercolors, and engravings. Paul's interest in music is reflected in his art, and even though Klee constantly made artworks in both his right and left hand, he never stopped playing the violin every day. What did Paul Klee paint? Klee painted reality in his own way. He allowed himself to be inspired by nature, even if he did not transfer exactly what he saw onto the canvas. Paul assembled a large collection of plants that he studied carefully. His pictures contain plants, animals, and fields, and they often feature trees, which were important to him. The artist's famous painting, Magic Garden, 1926, is filled with natural-looking and fantastical plants, some of which are shown as simple areas of color. Even Paul's last name, Klee, is the German word for clover, a fitting reference to the natural world from which Paul never stopped learning. Where did he get his love of color? In 1914, Paul Klee wrote in his journal, "Color has possessed me. Color and I are one. I am a painter." He was in Tunisia at the time, where the light and the intensity of the colors had inspired him in a revelation. From that point on, every color had its own significance, its own taste, its own tone. These ideas also influenced Klee's fellow artists. Color would always remain vital to Paul. Even though black strokes would begin to pervade his canvases and his life in 1933, that year the National Socialists, the Nazis, would take power in Germany and lead Europe down a dark path. Why did Klee call himself the painting poet? Klee was a poet as well as an artist, and his poetry can be found in the wonderful titles of his pictures. These titles have the same playful quality as the lines, forms, and color harmonies of his artworks that frequently include letters and words. Paul shows us what his eye discerns underneath the surface of things, and he guides us into a fantastic realm of dreams. Art does not reproduce the visible, rather it makes visible. He said, Klee was inspired and fascinated by everything, and he invites us to dive into his poetic vision of the world. Was he famous during his lifetime? Yes, very much so. Starting in 1910, some of Klee's works were exhibited in his homeland of Switzerland. They appeared first in the art museums in Bern, and later in other large Swiss cities. The magical painter, as Klee was called, became well known in France by 1925. In 1930, his works were shown in the USA at the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and even though the Nazis forced Klee into exile and condemned his paintings as degenerate or dangerous, Paul's fame continued to grow after his death. Color, light, and poetry, everything in the works of this visionary painter still enchants viewers today. And what if the cat in our story had eaten the bird? Paul Klee loved cats. They fascinated him so much that he kept several at home with him, his own hunters with heart-shaped noses, just like the one in his painting. So what would Klee think if the cat in our tale had torn out the bird's feathers? Who knows? Perhaps he might say the bird would simply continue to sing in the depth of the cat's belly. The painter always retained a good sense of humor, and after all, the bird is merely the cat's dream, just as the moon is the sun's dream, so anything is possible. Shall we let ourselves be carried off into our own dream world?